Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the wonderful Great Give here in New Haven. We're on the Radiothon in support of the Great Give here on WNHH Community Radio, helping nonprofits from throughout our community raise money to continue doing work that makes a difference. And to donate, as many of you know who maybe listened in yesterday, you go online to thegreatgive.org. Make sure you put in the. And if you'd like to throw in a few coins to keep this station and the New Haven Independent, who are kissing cousins, if you want to keep us humming, you can find us at the website newhavenindependent.org. Our first guest this morning is Vince Santilli, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Homes for the Brave. And just like you can't forget to put the in The Great Give, you must not forget to put in Homes for the Brave, not Home for the Brave. Vince, welcome. Your organization is headquartered in Bridgeport, but you're all over this area. Tell us about when you were started, what you do, and where you're located.
Well, Alan, thanks so much to you and WNHH for having us. We were founded in 2002 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And if this was 2 years ago, I would be telling you we have 3 facilities all in the city of Bridgeport. But in 2022, we opened 2 homes for male veterans experiencing homelessness in West Haven, Connecticut. So we've endeavored to be active members of the greater New Haven community. And we're just thrilled to be here. And it's just our mission is to get our men and women, almost all of whom have served this country, back permanently housed and back on their feet mentally, spiritually, emotionally, etc. We have a clinical program. We have a vocational program. And in downtown Bridgeport, we have a walk-in, drop-in service center for veterans and their family members.
For a long time now, the homeless population has had a large percentage of vets in it, and I'm assuming that was the trigger to do a specific program for veterans.
No question about it, Alan. And I think our founders correctly saw that veterans would go from the care of the VA, perhaps, and then transition into a permanent housing scenario. And a lot of times, a step is needed in between. A transitional step, such as the services that we offer to really enable our veterans to thrive in a permanent housing situation. And so that's, I think, where we come into play. Again, we're 22 years old in the city of Bridgeport, and we were thrilled to be able to open 2 homes just blocks away from the VA Medical Center in West Haven, Connecticut. And those beds are very popular because many of our veterans are going to the VA for either medical and or mental health treatment.
Oh, there's the VA over there is it Campbell Avenue?
Yes, sir.
Nearby, yes. That makes a lot of sense to have that.
Absolutely.
So in a moment, I'm going to ask you very specifically about what are the transitional issues or skills or lack thereof that need to be addressed. But before I do that, as is required in our tradition here on the Great Give Radiothon on WNHH, there's a poem or a song or some sort of a performance that I know you have brought with you. And I know you're very eager to perform, Vince.
Well, yes and no, because we're not going to do any singing this morning. I don't want to destroy the station's ratings. But I do have a poem or two, actually. And, and this one goes as follows. In shadows deep, a soldier roamed. No place to rest, no place called home. Yet beneath the stars a beacon shone, homes to the brave, a haven known. With open arms and hearts to heal, they offered hope, they made it real. Through their care he found his way from darkness into brighter day. From streets of sorrow to skies above, he rose with strength, with newfound love, a veteran now standing tall, thanks to the ones who answered his call.
I love it. So that does reflect precisely the role that Homes for the Brave plays from streets of sorrow to skies of blue. So in between there is the transition.
Yes, sir.
And so, by the way, if people are listening already and would like to give, what's the direct site? They go to thegreatgive.org?
They can, absolutely, and then just click on Homes for the Brave. If they want to down the road find out more about us, our website is homesforthebrave.org.
Right.
And it's important to note, Alan, many of the veterans that we're serving, 73% are experiencing mental health and or addiction issues.
Okay, so are those the transitional issues in particular that have to be addressed, or what's the niche? How can you describe it briefly that you focus on?
Often they are. Many of our veterans come to us in all different scenarios. I mean, some are highly educated and made a mistake along the way, and leads them into, that next thing you know, they're experiencing homelessness. Some have come to us, they were thriving and doing just fine, and then there was a fire in the house or the apartment they were living in. They need something now to help them until they can get back on their feet. Our vocational program helps them find both employment opportunities as well as both training programs as well. And we do have veterans attending Housatonic Community College. We have had veterans that have attended the University of Bridgeport, which is just, in both cases, a few hundred yards away from our headquarters on Park Avenue in Bridgeport.
And is your staff comprised of veterans themselves? Is that important?
Well, and many of our frontline folks, we have house monitors and peer support specialists, and many of them are alums of our programs, and we're really proud of that, because really they serve as a beacon of hope, because now the veterans that are staying with us can look and say, wow, he was here a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it might be. Now that's his car parked outside. He's got an apartment down the road, and I can do the same thing. So I think that's important to note, and these alums really understand the program because they've gone through it themselves.
So Homes for the Brave, literally, you own buildings or you own apartments, and you have house monitors to help people learn how to do that kind of stuff more effectively.
Of course. And, we actually have now a total of 6 facilities. One is permanent in the city of Bridgeport. 4 are transitional, okay, 2 of which are in Bridgeport and 2 in West Haven. And then we have a walk-in, drop-in veteran service center for veterans and their family members in downtown Bridgeport. And that has an emergency food pantry, that has a group room, that has a therapist that then veterans and their family members can see and order. Because, let's face it, mental health needs have exploded in this country. Many people attribute that to the pandemic, but in my opinion, and I'm not a clinician, I'm a banker by trade, actually, before beginning my career here at Homes for the Brave, but I surmise that I think our country was heading in that direction anyway.
The mental health crisis.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's a very interesting perspective, especially from somebody with banking experience. I trust you don't mean it's a crisis in financial literacy.
Well, I think that one exists too. And it's important to note that in our houses, we do have life skills workshops on Thursday afternoons at our headquarters in particular. And those rotate between nutrition, wellness, daily living skills, and Bing, financial literacy. And it's wonderful, in my case, to have former colleagues or former bankers that I competed against coming and delivering very, very necessary financial literacy and tools that our veterans find extremely useful.
That's terrific. That must be very personally satisfying. So I'm talking with Vince Santilli, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Homes for the Brave. You can go to that organization, their website directly to give, or to thegreatgive.org. And in our final minute or two, are you two questions, Vince? Are you raising money specifically for a project for a new facility or general operating purposes? That's question number one. And the question number two is, tell me about your own transition to this and how you made the shift from your previous banking career to this organization.
Okay. Well, we're raising funds to support our West Haven operations. And, of course, we have 2 houses, as I mentioned, and we're very proud of those houses. They total 15 beds.
15 apartments? Or
15 rooms, if you will.
Okay.
And so in those two houses, we have gardens at both houses, and so they're something that really are critically important to help our veterans get back on their feet. And so we're raising money to continue operating them and deliver the world-class services that we have been able to deliver.
Including gardening. That's important.
Well, it's nice because
Right.
some of those fruits and vegetables that they're very fertile, and we can utilize them in the kitchen, and,
Right.
and that's part of the nutrition, so it all
Right.
kind of links together.
Right. You can also learn how to stress by doing gardening. It's a wonderful meditative exercise if you think about the dirt.
No question. No question. And as far as the transition from, my banking career to home, I've been here a couple of weeks ago. I hit 8 years here at Homestead Brave. So it just feels like I've been here for centuries almost, on some days in particular. But at any rate, I still deal with budgets and the financial aspect of things. But it's very gratifying, the work we do, to see veterans who come to us, again, experiencing homelessness, struggling to overcome addictions, and then see them being able to get back on their feet, permanently housed, hopefully thriving in the communities in which they're now residing, some on our own staff that we can point to as examples, and that's pretty gratifying. And I have I have another poem for you. This is shorter and sweeter, but it goes something like this. Roses are red, violets are blue. Send us some great give green, and all of us at Homestead Above Brave will love you.
Well, that eloquent final poem from Vince Santilli of Homes for the Brave. Go to thegreatgive.org and support Homes for the Brave. Thank you so much and stay in touch with us, especially if there's good news or red letter moments in West Haven.
We would love to come back, and thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure. Okay.
Right. Got it. Business card.
Still at its location?
Yeah.
Quiet. I guess I don't come by. Welcome back to the Great Give Radiothon here on WNHH-FM. We're delighted to keep on all day today as yesterday, hosting the nonprofits from throughout Greater New Haven, raising money to do the important work they do here on the second day of the Great Give. Our guest at this interval is Heidi Green, who's the Associate Dean for institutional advancement, and she's also the major domo in the connection between the college and the Gateway Foundation. Welcome, Heidi.
Thank you, Ellen. Really nice to be here.
So tell New Haveners know where Gateway Community College is, right down there on State Street. Tell us what's happening there. Tell us the difference between what the college does and what the foundation does. And are you here specifically to raise money for a project, or just the general support of the important work of the college?
Those are all great questions, and I'm happy to address them. So, Gateway Community College is right downtown. And we serve about 5,700 students, mostly from the Greater New Haven region. We are a majority-minority campus. A third of our students are Hispanic or Latin, a third are Black, and a third are not Hispanic or Latin or Black. We offer 120 or more different degrees and workforce certificate programs. And we are the most affordable educational option for people seeking post-secondary degrees. We're an open campus, which means that anyone who wants to attend Gateway is welcome to do that. We don't turn anyone away. The Gateway Foundation is a 501c3 organization that's taking part in the Great Give. Its mission is to raise funds to support the education and opportunities for students at Gateway.
So, to help me and maybe others understand this, why does a community college, which obviously is a part of the state system and receives lots of money, what does the money that a foundation raises, what can it do that's not in what the funding from the state is able to do?
Sure. So we raise
examples.
I'm happy to give examples. So we raise money for scholarships for students. Even though tuition is about $5,500 a year, for many low-income people, that's just not affordable. And so scholarships are very helpful. Last night, for instance, we met with the Scholarship Review Committee to go through hundreds of applications, 256 applications from students for scholarship assistance. We awarded about $100,000 in scholarships. We have so many students who need scholarships, fellowships, laptops. Of the students that we awarded assistance to last night, 31 will receive laptops, but as I said, we've got 5,700 students, and imagine, Alan, being a student and having to do your classwork on your phone. So the foundation is very helpful in raising money for scholarships, for laptops, for programs on campus. Things like last night, the art gallery, the New Alliance Foundation Art Gallery at Gateway, had a student opening. The foundation provided money so that there could be snacks at that opening.
Oh, well, listen, I have it's been my pleasure as a longtime reporter for The Independent to cover those openings. Mm-hmm. And also to cover a lot of the inspirational speeches of Dorsey Kendrick, who was, I think, she wasn't the founding president, or was she?
She wasn't the founding president, but she was the president who was responsible for bringing Gateway downtown.
She put in the facility and also that wonderful visual on the bridge across, is it George Street? No. Where you can see the faces of students as you drive under. I thought that was the most wonderful way to talk about the college. Your remarks about scholarships, make it evident. 5,700 students. Obviously, people who apply to Gateway Community College are doing it in no small part because of the affordability issue. Mm-hmm. So scholarships are. So to support more scholarships, go to thegreatgive.org, and on the site there, it's the
Gateway Community College Foundation.
Gateway Community College Foundation.
Yes.
And then can you specify when you get to that site whether your contributions might go to scholarships, or is it?
You can. You can designate to whatever you'd like to. So you can make a general operating gift, which would then support things like food for gallery openings.
Right.
Or you can give to a scholarship. You can even say that you'd like to support students in a specific program. So we have, for instance, a nuclear medicine program. We have one of the finest nursing programs in the community colleges in the state. We've got an automotive program. We have a railroad engineering and a railroad signaling and communications program. So if if there are things that speak to your passions that you'd like to support the future students in those careers, you're more than welcome to do that.
Well, that sounds fascinating. I mean, some of the things you just mentioned, like railroad operations and nuclear medicine, make me want to ask whether is the direction of the majors and the direction of the community colleges much more vocational lately, or not?
I would not say that it is much more vocational. I mean, the truth is that our students come from all over and are seeking an opportunity. And some see that opportunity as preparing themselves to transfer to a 4-year degree and beyond. So Lexi Robinson, for instance, is a student who received a scholarship from the Gateway Foundation. She's from Seymour. She's studying biomedical engineering. She will continue after Gateway, but she's making her start at Gateway because it's the most affordable option for her.
And some of those programs, like your nursing program, are highly sought after, correct?
Yes. Actually, the Gateway Nursing Program is not the largest nursing program in the community colleges in Connecticut, but it is the most successful. We graduate the most nurses, and we have a really wonderful partnership with Yale New Haven Hospital. So our nurses do their clinicals at Yale.
So when you finish 2 years at Gateway with, for example, a nursing credential, but you need to go on elsewhere for training.
So our nursing program, it has the clinicals built in, and you graduate with a BA in nursing. Right now, actually, this week, the nurses have been meeting to study for their NCLEX exams. These are the nursing certification exams.
The RN exam.
Mm-hmm.
So to graduate, when you graduate with a BA in nursing from Gateway.
Yes.
How many other BAs does Gateway confer in what other fields?
That's a really good question. I don't know.
Because most of the degrees are the
associate's degrees. Yes.
But in certain of these specialized programs, so that's news to me. So that is basically like going to a 4-year school in 2 years.
It is. It's very intensive.
Right.
And yes. And as I said, so Gateway is one of 12 community colleges in the CT State Community College system. We're not the only community college to have a nursing program, so you can also do that at Capital or Housatonic, for instance.
Right. The scholarships, I keep on going back to the importance of the scholarships. Yep. When young people at Gateway apply for a scholarship, can you ask for a laptop?
Yes.
So you can specify what your need is when you apply?
Yes. So the Gateway Community College Foundation has one scholarship round per year. Mm-hmm. Our major fundraiser for scholarship assistance is the Hall of Fame, which we do in the fall. Mm-hmm. And students apply for different scholarships based on what their needs are and what their program of study is. So they can say, yes, I need a laptop. And we also have some laptops that we have donated to the library, mm-hmm. so that the library can give them to students that come throughout the course of the year with a need. So it's a very handy resource for our students.
Oh, I mean, we're almost wrapping up, but I just want to say I'm a graduate of Gateway.
Nice.
And actually, I served as student government president there for a while. And the biggest thing for me, it was just is the when I started, it was actually the broadening of my horizons, right? It's just you're dipping your toe into the possibilities, right?
Exactly.
And I graduated with a business degree with an emphasis on accounting, and it was just like I said, it was dipping my toe because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I got the degree, and from there on, I went on to technology and stuff like that. But it was a great start, a great foundation
That
for me, So I mean, it's it is the best thing. Actually, my wife and I graduated. I think we were the only couple that graduated at the same time. So it was like we actually were written about in the New Haven Register. We like I said, we graduated at the same time. It was amazing for us, right? Being high school dropouts, and then winding up getting our degree from Gateway was like the best thing that ever happened to us. So.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful. And so I have something to share with you. So this evening from 5 to 7:30 at the Pequannock Yacht Club, there's a meet and greet for Gateway alumni. We're really trying to build the alumni network. So please come, bring your wife, and reconnect with other Gateway alums. It'll be
Okay.
it'll be
I'll
really
try.
nice to
I'll
see you
try.
there.
Well, there's a great success story right in our backyard. Thank you, Harry, our station manager. How fabulous is that?
That's pretty wonderful. And if you want to, help students like Harry broaden their horizons and come to their next steps, your contribution to the Gateway Community College Foundation through the Great Give is more than appreciated.
At the Gateway College Community Foundation?
Gateway Community College Foundation. Yeah.
So we are wrapping up. We can't do better than that testimonial.
No.
But I omitted to ask if you brought a song or a poem with you.
I did bring a poem
All right.
that's about opportunity. It's by Kathy Song.
All right.
And I'll just read a little tiny bit of it. This bit says, "As we journey through this life, may we move deeper into insight and see things as they truly are. This wonderful opportunity to awaken. May we be grateful for the teachers and all their guises who appear before us. May we love those who are hardest to love, including ourselves. And may leaders who work for peace, for the peace of the planet, step forward, and may we support them. May those who have gone before us rest in peace, rest in comfort, rest in joy, and may we remember to remember them."
Well, that is community college values on steroids there. Thank you very much, Heidi Green of the Gateway Community College Foundation, and Harry for the wonderful recommendations for the support of the foundation.
And Alan, thank you.
My pleasure.
That was
Welcome back to the Great Give Radiothon here on WNHH-FM. And one of my favorite nonprofits in New Haven has just appeared, the wonderful Rebecca Goodhart from Elm Shakespeare. Hi, Rebecca.
Hey, how are you?
You have so much stuff going on, and I think a lot of New Haveners know about Elm Shakespeare, the wonderful performances in the park every summer. And upcoming is going to be Richard III with a woman as Richard.
Yes.
So tell us about that, and then the 15 things that Elm Shakespeare is doing, in addition to its always important summer camp and ongoing kind of Shakespeare experiences for young people.
We are doing so much. We have actually doubled our programming this year. It is just incredible. And of course, we have to thank Alexander Clark for making that happen. But it is a super ambitious year. We're doing more than ever. And yeah, our summer production this year is going to be Richard III. We're going back a little bit to the more traditional. We've done a lot of fun, wild takes. And this is going to be an oldie-timey, good old-fashioned Richard III. However, Richard will be played by the incomparable Lisa Volpe, and she's been on our stage twice before and is an international treasure, really, for Shakespeare. She's right at Oregon Shakespeare Festival right now.
Is it unusual to have Richard as a woman? Is this a first? Is it a first in Connecticut, a first in...
It's probably a first in Connecticut, although it's happening more and more these days. That's the wonderful thing about the new world of theater, is that really it's about the phenomenal actors, and anybody can play almost anything.
So is she going to be Richard the man, or is she going to be Richard as a woman?
She will be Richard as a man. The thing about Lisa Volpe is that she is known for over her entire career as an advocate for not only women's rights but also LGBTQIA rights. And she's known as, she's played almost every major male character in the canon. She leads workshops around the country about cross-gendering Shakespeare. And she is she's a remarkable gift to the theater world. And I can't believe we're lucky enough to have her here in New Haven.
Well, that's fascinating. Can I get a ticket from you right now before you go?
Absolutely. Well, and even better, she's coming earlier. She's really being with us. She's going to do her one-woman show for one night only here in New Haven on June 6th.
And tell us where that's up at Southern?
No, it's going to be our spring season is in partnership all over the community, and this is at Yale Schwartzman Center. We're thrilled to partner with them. So it'll be in the Dome, which is this beautiful, round, sort of ethereal space. And it's a one-woman show called Shakespeare and the Alchemy of Gender. And it is her story. She has a remarkable trajectory of her life. Both her parents were in Auschwitz and escaped. And it is part of her story as making peace with being the daughter of survivors, and how she found her way and how Shakespeare helped her through that. It's also in partnership with the Jewish Federation of New Haven. And it is a remarkable show.
And when is that performance
That's
again?
June 6th.
Well,
and there's only 70 seats.
Sign me up.
Absolutely. I hope you'll come.
I absolutely would love to. And speaking of the alchemy of gender, there is yet another Elm Shakespeare program that you are going to be acting in, Women of Will. Now, this is a program that famous Shakespeare director Tina Packer, and your mentor, if I remember,
yes,
has been doing for a while. Tell us about that. But before you tell us about that, I'm going to ask you to do some soliloquy or some song or poem from Shakespeare from one of the performances.
Oh,
upcoming.
You got it. Wonderful. Well, let me just give you a little taster. All of our performances this spring are part of our social justice program, which this year, we look at an issue or a facet of our society that's really relevant, and we use Shakespeare as the lens. So this year we're exploring gender and changing conceptions of gender, hence Shakespeare and the Alchemy of Gender, the Women of Will. And Tina Packer did indeed. This is her award-winning off-Broadway show, and I am so humbled that she has given me permission to be the first person to perform it. So she has directed me in it, and it looks at all the female characters in Shakespeare and the evolution of Shakespeare's relationship to the women that he writes.
So heretofore, she performed it?
She has always performed it.
And how many of Shakespeare's female characters will be featured?
There's about 12, I think.
And you're 12, all 12 of them?
All 12 of them.
So
Yes.
how has it affected your personality?
Actually, to be really honest, it has calmed me down. I have not been able to perform yet in New Haven. This will be a debut. I've been so busy building the company and directing. And so to return to the stage is just a huge gift. And
Where and
you
when
forget.
is that? Where and when is that,
it's
Rebecca?
May 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. 4 shows only at Southern Connecticut State University, which, of course, we're in residence there.
We have so many dates to remember. The Women of Will, the Alchemy of Gender, and Richard III.
Right? And you should go to our website, which is elmshakespeare.org. Super easy to remember. And on our homepage, you can get to all of the things, because those 2 performances are only 2 of 5 events that are part of the Building a Brave New Theater event series. So people should check out all of it. So that's ELM, ELM, Shakespeare.org.
And many of these events, well, the long running Summer Shakespeare is always free.
Yes.
Donations are requested, but not necessary at all. So there's a lot of good reason to send your contributions to elmshakespeare.org.
.org. It's
Right.
just that simple.
Or you can do it directly, or you can go to thegreatgive.org, put in the great, and you can do it that way. We only have 2 minutes left. So,
Oh no! All right. So do you want to hear some Shakespeare, or we actually have a little ditty a little poetic ditty we wrote specifically for the Great Give?
let's
What
do
would you
both.
like?
Fast.
Let's do both.
Fast.
All right. So
Do it like a used car commercial. Fast.
All right. So here's just the tiniest bit of Juliet, because why not to say those words? She says, "Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face, else would a maiden blush, but paint my cheek for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I dwell on form, fain deny what I have spoke, but farewell compliment. Dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word. Or if thou think I am too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse and say thee nay, so thou will woo, but else not for the world. Fair Montague, in faith I am too fond, and therefore thou mayest think my behavior light, but trust me, I'll prove more true than those that have more cunning to be strange."
Wow. Yeah, I don't know why. Something about Shakespeare's writing that you are drawn into it right away.
I just
it's so
love it.
colorful, no matter what. It's amazing.
And I will say, and I know we're pressed for time, but I love one of the things Juliet says is perfect for the Great Give, which she says, "My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have. For both are infinite."
There you go.
Sweet. So the
There
more
you
you
go.
give.
The-
So, all right. So you wanted our little ditty to entice people to give.
And while Rebecca Goodhart from Elm Shakespeare is reading, send your money to the elmshakespeare.org.
We really need everybody's help. It's such an ambitious season. So
Okay.
here you are. Your gifts, like stars in night so dark, will cast their light and make their mark. Your generous gifts will have seeds sown for classes and plays yet to be shown. Might you lend to us your valued aid in these last hours, for light doth fade, and make a gift. It's not much trouble to double our thanks and then redouble. Or what if your tale might be made viral? Your kin, your friends could make it spiral. So play your part or share your tale. Speak your love for Elm in full detail. Speak of youth whose minds expand, of laughter shared with open hand, the dialogues with where truths are mined, the bonds of neighbors redefined. Together, let's reach for greater heights, united in mission, take to flight. But at this story's core is you. At Elm Shakespeare, we thank you for all you do.
And thank you, Rebecca Goodhart, for that wonderful reading and all the programs the company is doing. And I'll look forward to seeing you at Richard III, at Women of Will, and Alchemy of Gender. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. elmshakespeare.org.
Welcome back to the Great Give Radiothon on WNHH-FM. We're delighted to keep on hosting the nonprofits from New Haven, Greater New Haven, and around the state during the second day of the wonderful Great Give to support organizations doing work that makes a big difference in New Haven. And one of those organizations that makes a big difference, especially when the weather gets cold, is Operation Fuel. And I'm here with Roxana Booth. Welcome, Roxana.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and you're going to tell us, just give us, as we say in the journalism business, give us the lead, who Operation Fuel is, where you're based, whom you serve, and follow that by your poetry that's required for your performance today on The Great Give.
It was wonderful. I have to say, since I first received your invitation, and with that caveat of start with a poem, I was very intrigued and excited to come today. But it's a pleasure, and I represent Operation Fuel, which is, interestingly enough, the oldest, the original fuel fund in the nation. And it's right here in Connecticut. It's a statewide organization that's been around since 1977. We're preparing, if you can imagine, for our 50th anniversary a few years from now. But what we do is we serve a statewide constituency of folks within a certain income that, like all of us, but particularly so, need assistance with utilities. And that can be in the form of electricity, water, gas, or oil.
Wonderful. And, one of the things I want to ask is why the oldest, fuel support organization was only begun in 1977. I mean, what did people do before 1977? They just got cold, I guess. Well, read that poem for us first, Roxana, and then you'll answer my question.
That'd be my pleasure.
All right.
All right. It was a tough decision, but I came up with the poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson called Success. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded.
So every line of that poem is another example of success. Why did you choose that? I mean, which is quite wonderful. But what made you want to connect that with the good work that Operation Fuel does? What values are there that represents the values of Operation Fuel?
It was really just a perfect match in my book in terms of, I think that's one of the things Operation Fuel is. We describe ourselves in a variety of ways, but one is as a safety net for some of the most vulnerable people here in the state. And I think the concept of trying to leave the world a better place than you found it, or leave whatever it is better. I think that's, Operation Fuel is working towards sustainable solutions, but in the near term, we're trying to alleviate the suffering of people who are in a position that find it very difficult with the particular high rates and energy and water here in New England.
Right. And if people want to support the organization, the website is what, operationfuel.org?
Yeah. Yep. www.operationfuel.org.
Or we can go to The Great Give and look for Operation Fuel. And
right now I'd encourage you to do that because of the incentives and the matches over the next, several hours, or the length of the campaign, that it is a time that any organization you want to help, you're going to be able to help them even more because of the support of the New Haven community.
Right, matching gifts and kind of rewards, incentives to give. So are we fundraising today on The Great Give for general operating support, or a specific program for a specific feature of the operations?
We generally, our mainstay is the energy support, which helps in a variety of ways your neighbors. And that's one of the things I want to just point out. In Greater New Haven, we've distributed this year alone just under $1 million in energy assistance. And we served over 1,748 households. And that was reaching over 4,224 individuals. And that's not just New Haven itself, but Greater New Haven. And that's you helping here in New Haven people who are less fortunate and less able to support themselves with your generosity.
That's very impressive. So what form does the assistance take, and how do people apply for it?
That website I gave you we have the two entryways when you go to operationfuel.org. We'll give you either get help if you are someone who is seeking help and needs support. There's a big, I believe it used to be a red button, but there's a big button very clearly on the landing page that you can access all of the forms, the actual application, which is now in the last 3 years became an online application for ease of people being able to apply. And if you aren't seeking help, there's another button that says give help.
Ah.
So it's very simple. Those are our two gateways.
And how is it done? Is it a complicated application? Is there an income threshold? What are you looking for?
Yep, all of that's on the website in terms of what you can see very clearly depending on how many people in your family and what your income is if you qualify.
Right.
Generally, it's either a $500 or in some cases this year we were able to do a higher benefit because the legislature and the governor all agreed to a special additional allocation for Operation Fuel to provide for families across the state of Connecticut because we are a statewide serving organization.
So Operation Fuel is funded in part through the state?
It is. It's funded by state, by the systems benefit charge, which is something we all collectively pay a little bit on our bill for. I know it feels like we pay a lot, but there are a variety of ways. The other way that we get funding is through a program called Add a Dollar. If you remember going back to when we all used to pay on paper bills and write checks out, which people don't do as much anymore, you could add $1 or more to your bill to help your neighbor. Now that is something you can do online. So if you pay your bills electronically, you can still do that. And almost $500,000 comes in every year throughout the state of Connecticut by generous people who say, I have $1 and I can help my neighbor.
So this is a financial support organization. I'm not going to see an Operation Fuel truck going into and out of driveways.
No, it is not that. We are, we like to think of ourselves often as a convener, someone who brings people together. We bring resources from the state, and we make sure they get to the people who need them and qualify for them through the application process, which you mentioned earlier. There is an application, but it's, pretty straightforward about how you do it. And we have people available every day for certain hours of the day to help you through that process. And we go through it one by one. So
Operation Fuel, which you could support by going to operationfuel.org directly or going to The Great Give. You are looking for general operating support because the need is going up because the rates are going up.
It is, and it's unprecedented this year. We, in this past season, have served just under, I believe, or just over 8,000 households throughout the state. And, and the number I mentioned was about 4,000 in Greater New Haven. So that's a big chunk. And obviously, not obviously, but you might imagine that a lot of the need are in some of our urban centers. So New Haven, Bridgeport, Hartford.
Right.
Where folks are looking for assistance to be able to make ends meet.
Ends meet with assistance with oil or electricity.
Yep, and water.
And water.
All three of those, because water is the fastest growing utility rate.
How interesting is that?
It's very interesting because it's something that, no one wants to think about people being cold, particularly when, we're just getting out of that long New England winter. But you have to think about water as something that we can't survive without. If you don't have water in your home, you can be cold, you can get some blankets, you could, do a variety of things. You don't have access to water. That's a health and safety, issue.
It is indeed. Well, Roxana Booth, thank you so much for explaining the important activities of Operation Fuel in the greater New Haven area as well as across the state.
It is my pleasure to have been here and to meet you, and thank you for sharing our good word with your community.
Okay, well, let's all stay warm and well watered.
Absolutely. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Tanisha, what's your role? Executive director? You have your little ditty to perform your poem.
That's actually written by one of our presidents.
Oh, all right. Excellent. All right. I don't think so, but what you need to do is you need to talk really closely to the microphone. Keep it in there. Just, yeah. Well, welcome back to the Great Give Radiothon on WNHH-FM. We're delighted to keep on hosting the nonprofits from throughout the community, the greater New Haven area, to raise money to continue doing the important good work that they do. And to donate to all these organizations, be sure to go to thegreatgive.org. Don't forget the. And if you'd like to throw in some coins, well, more than coins, to keep this station, WNHH, and the New Haven Independent humming, you can do that too at newhavenindependent.org. But the guests before me now are Tanisha Bonner, the executive director, and Kylie Marrero, the director of admissions and something else. Outreach for the Parents Foundation for Transitional Living, which is an organization at 100 Broadway, right around the shops at Yale, hiding for 32 years. Why don't we know more about you? Or I've been covering stories and I don't remember your organization. Tanisha, tell us about the organization, who you serve, and what important niche you fill in New Haven.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to think Parent Foundation has always been like this hidden gem that we actually want people to start knowing about. We were founded back in 1992. The name Parents Foundation actually comes from a group of parents and providers who started the organization about 32 years ago. They wanted somewhere for their loved ones to be able to get the type of supervisory support that suffered from mental illness. They didn't want them in a hospital. They didn't want them in an institution. They wanted them in a home-like setting. So they got together. They got this building. They renovated it, and they made it a home for persons with mental health, 18 and older, to get 24-hour care.
So it's 18 and older.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So where physically is the building, and how many units are in the building?
Yeah, so we are located at 100 Broadway. It's right on the corner of Howe and Whaley, right in the heart of New Haven. We're not too far from the New Haven Green, the Yale shops. It's right on that corner. So if you drive by it, you probably drive by it every day and never know that we're in that building.
So what's the marker that people will know? What's the closest? Howe and Whaley? Where the Three Amigos?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Right
So
across the street from where Three
right
Amigos
across the
was.
street.
Directly across the street.
Yeah.
From the three. So you're really amigos of a different kind over there.
Yes, yes.
So who gets in touch with you? Is it word of mouth? How do people hear about you and tell us about your connection with it? How you?
Yeah, Kai, you're at admissions, so let me let you.
Kylie, okay.
So we're affiliated a couple different ways. So we are involved in ARDA, which is American Residential Treatment Association. So that is different programs, clinical and non-clinical, throughout the entire country. So we're affiliated with them. So we get referrals through them, as well as some local connections that we have at Yale Psychiatric Hospital, have worked with them before, and some providers in the area, as well as some of the other great programs in the area.
Yeah, it's mainly referrals that we get. Families can go to our website. We are on Google at www.parentsfoundation.org.
Yeah.
So I think we are just now starting to really get more online, get our presence out there. We're really big on this new year of, people knowing who we are.
Yeah. I hope we can help along. So it's this website. It's parentsfoundation.org or parentsfoundationfortransitionalliving.org.
Parentsfoundation.org.
All right, but the website is the little bit of a shorthand for
Yeah.
Parents Foundation.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That might be something to think about.
Yeah.
So
Right.
how many people are living there, and what kinds of mental illness situations are there? A lot of the organizations that we talk to here on The Great Give deal with people with challenges like substance abuse. Is that you have certain limitations, certain niche?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
Sorry.
we work with adults with a serious mental health diagnosis, so schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, bipolar, depression, anxiety, OCD. We are a substance-free house, a nicotine-free house, so we don't work with any substances at all. Since we're non-clinical, we think that it's important to know the realm that we can handle. So we can take adults 18 and up. We have 3 different programs. Our first program is our group home, which is a residential living center. So we can hold up to 15 residents in that program. Our second is our supervised apartment program, which can hold up to 16 residents. And then we actually have our independent care program that we call Off Broadway, where folks live off Broadway and they can live in their own chosen apartment in the community and come for services. So that can hold up to however many residents.
Off Broadway is one absolutely wonderful name for maybe you could be called Off Broadway.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what does it mean to be a non-clinical a home situation
Yeah,
as opposed to clinical?
Yeah, so we have no, psychiatrists, therapists, any of that type of stuff
None.
on staff. No, all of our providers are out in the community. I mean, we have some of the best providers in the country. We're right by Yale. A lot of our residents see doctors and things right from Yale.
I see.
for
So
treatment.
all the clinical needs are
Outsourced, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's truly a home with 24/7 supervisory care.
So people come back to either their individual apartment or to their dormitory setting or whatever it happens to be, and who is it? It sounds like it's a college setting almost with their floor monitors, residential counselors. Who's there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have residential assistants that work, around the clock.
RAs. That's what they
Yeah,
call.
yes, sir.
That's what they call them at Yale.
Yeah, they're RAs for us as well. And then we also have care coordinators, which is very different than case managers. We like to think that our staff, they don't manage cases. They coordinate care for these residents. They take them on appointments. They create goal plans with them. They help them with their ADLs and things like that. And then we also have
ADLs.
assisted daily living skills. So hygiene, brushing their hair, making their beds and stuff like that. Just getting them more independent. Usually when we have residents that move in, they're struggling with their hygiene. They're struggling with their medication compliance. They're struggling with, who they want to be, what they want to do. And that's what we provide. We help them get back on track to what their new life looks like. When you're, diagnosed with a severe mental illness, you're trying to figure it out as well. Like, who am I now? And we just help them kind of navigate that.
So who? We're talking to Tanisha Bonner and Kylie Marrero of the Parents Foundation for Transitional Living, but their website is parentsfoundation.org, which you can go to directly because it's important for them to get well known because they have a disconnect between their full name and their website address. parentsfoundation.org, or you can go to thegreatgive.org, and on that site it's the parentsfoundation.org also.
Yes.
So who are your care providers, your care, not your managers, but your mentors?
So we have an amazing board. that have, one of them is actually one of the founding members of Parents Foundation. He's a psychiatrist, he's a doctor. He's a great mentor, extremely smart. Our board members have been part of the organization almost over 20 years. And then we still have new board members to bring that, innovation into the future, new ideas, because we're always evolving. Some of our other mentors in the area are the providers that we use. They help keep us educated on new medicine that's being developed, new diagnosis, new ways to de-escalate, or new ways to, deal with anxiety when it presents itself. How to get residents to learn better coping skills. That's all at the heart of what we do, because we're around the best technology.
I'm curious about is the you don't have case manager, but you have
care coordinators.
So the care coordinators, who are they? Where do they come from? What skills do they have that are a kind of a unique service that they're providing? Kylie.
So there are care coordinators. Actually, it's kind of fun to talk about because I started as a care coordinator at Parents Foundation when I started working there.
Okay.
So it's bachelor level human service fields, folks that come in and they are really providing care for these residents and being their number one advocate. So whether it's teaching them how to get to their appointments independently, bringing them to their first volunteer job, back to college, back to work, going shopping to get clothes for an interview, anything you can think of,
things
they
that
do.
People take for granted who don't struggle with those issues.
Yeah. So our care coordinators, they are such creative young women that we have right now.
Right.
They're such creative people, and they have such big hearts, and they dedicate doing anything with our residents as long as it's safe and it's going to be beneficial for them. And they have some of those tough conversations, of what needs to be done, and they're so gracious about it.
Are they in residence with the residents?
Yep. So our staff, since we're 24 hours, 7 days a week, we have staff that are working every single day. So some of our care coordinators are there on the weekend. Some of them are there during the week. Some of them are on call for emergencies in case something's going on. So there's
do they sleep in the
No.
So they don't.
Yeah, but we make sure that this house is always staffed appropriately. We always have residential assistants in building 24/7 as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we also have 2 cooks, so we also provide meals, 7 days a week by cooks that are went to culinary school. They prepare great meals. We really try to give the best type of care. We want it to be like a home, and we don't want it to be, anything but that. We don't want the residents to feel like they're in an institution or a hospital. A lot of them have a lot of trauma behind that. They had hospitalizations and stuff like that. I think we pride ourselves that families get to be families. They don't have to be, their doctor, their therapist, or anything like that. We provide that blanket in between to let a mom be a mom again. To let a dad be a dad again. They have visits from their families. They go away on weekends. We had a resident that just went to Mexico and vacation with his family that they haven't been able to do that in years. So
so they and then after the vacation, his family would go wherever they live, and then your guy would go back to Broadway or off Broadway.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So what's the amount of time that the residents spend with Parents Foundation for Transition?
It's individualized per person.
Yeah.
So we have our average length of stay is close to a decade right now. So we have
a decade.
Yes.
A decade.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we have some folks that will transition. They'll start in the group home. They'll transition to the apartment program, move to the off-Broadway program, and then graduate. And we have some folks that will kind of stay in-house with us. It's individualized per person. So we don't set time frames because sometimes time frames can be quite detrimental to somebody. That pressure, there's so many other things we want to focus on with them. So it's really whatever's going to work for that individual.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them, this is their forever home. They will always be a part of Parents Foundation.
Even when they're no longer in residence.
No, yeah, even when they're in residence still.
Right. Right.
So, there's going to be certain residents that's always going to need the support. They'll be able to go to college and get a job, but they still need someone to make sure they're taking their medication, someone to make sure they're having meals, someone to make sure they're not isolating themselves and getting the socialization that they need. That's what we do.
Do the residents tend to be on the younger side?
It's very diverse. We have a lot of young adults right now, and we also have a lot of older adults too. Our youngest resident right now is in their late teens, and our oldest resident is in their early 70s.
Yeah. When I started 12 years ago as an RA at Parents Foundation, the population was elderly, mainly men, and the main diagnosis was schizophrenia or schizoaffective. Fast forward in 2024, we're starting to see anxiety, dual diagnosis come through, and a younger population come through.
It's interesting because this is a theme that sitting at this desk over this last day and a half, I've heard a lot of the increase of mental illness, stress cause conditions in all forms.
Yeah, very, very, very true.
So, alas, this is a business that seems to be in business for quite a long time to come, although we all wish it would disappear. The Parents Foundation for Transitional Living, important supports for people living with serious diagnosed mental illnesses, especially schizophrenia and related things. Tanisha Bonner and Kylie Marrero from the Parents Foundation. As we conclude, you're going to read us a poem or some work from one of the residents.
Yeah,
yes,
one
sir.
of our residents, Lily, and she is tuning in at home. So really excited that we get to read this. So her poem is called Sunrise, Sunset. Sunrise, sunset, I see things I don't forget. See words in books, visions on a screen. Thoughts are pure, nothing obscene. I eat, I drink, I think. My thoughts swim. I begin to dream. Pretty colors, nothing obscene. From dawn till dusk, this I must.
Well, I think that says it all. Thank you, thank you, folks from the Parents Foundation.org, doing God's work in New Haven.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are amazing. Thank you so much.
This hip-hop forestry and poetry is getting late, let's flow a tree. This academic superstar gon' plant a seed and grow a tree. In my front yard, locally, on my block, hopefully, make others do it, globally, not fresh air, I'm thankful for oxygen, a tree hugging out again. But trees my family, you see I lost a lot of friends. Humans are greedy, mistaken it for hungry. Like a racist really hates me for diversity, they want me. See you little devil, look around me with filthy feathers. Don't like all you dirty birds, you ain't no falcon, be my pleasure. The skeet shoot, now skeet, get you away from me. You not worth my own want to see, but I know what you want from me. My body you sexualize, my mind you criticize, my existence you idolize. Treat the world like it's itemized. We taking harvest with no limits and I call it godless. And still gotta deal with racist foolishness in my office. Let me back up off that, teach a new subject off rap. This my sis blueprint, drugs and hoods to girls, yeah we off that. With all disrespect, this ain't about love and cops or being soft. Not saying go to college, but I'm saying something.
Welcome to the Great Give Radiothon. Here we are approaching, 11 o'clock here on WNHH FM, community radio supporting all the wonderful nonprofits throughout the city doing essential work. One of them to me is one of the behind the scenes organizations that are supporting so many other organizations and what they do. And I'm referring to Havens Harvest. And we have with us Lori Martin, the executive director. We have with us Anissa Garcia, who's a project manager, and Pastor Philip Boone, the board president of Havens Harvest. Welcome, folks.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So please explain to our listeners maybe what I mean by a behind-the-scenes organization that helps so many other organizations. You are all about food in New Haven and to support that very basic commodity that makes everything else happen. Lori.
Yeah, sure. So, Ellen, what we do is the part that you're saying the behind the scenes is that we're a business-to-business organization. And so our mission is to build community and reduce food waste, one food rescue at a time. So our mission is environmental, and what we do is look over the landscape all the time to see where is the good food still going to waste, and then where are the nearest mouths that we could feed people. And so we look at first through an environmental justice lens to get food to people that we know need food, and in the city it's just about everyone. And then we work with our nonprofit partners to get that food shared out. So some of those places are soup kitchens and food pantries, but we also work with daycare centers, health clinics, faith communities, the senior centers, even a couple of the libraries. They take some bread to share with their patrons.
So Anissa or anybody, since you're one of the project managers there, give us an example of exactly what happens. To put the flesh on the fruit, so to speak. What does it mean, food rescue, bringing food from where to where, how it's done, how it relies, my guess is, on volunteers all over the place, and your the organization's present circumstances, which is there's a kind of warehouse where you gather the food, I'm understanding, although sometimes it's delivered directly from one place where there is surplus and to the other place where there's need. So can you kind of bring it to life for us in an example or two?
Sure. So we use an app called Food Rescue Hero, and that app we're allowed to add any rescues. So if someone calls us with, Yale, for instance, always has food. I think yesterday we picked up 30 pans of prepared food from them.
30 pans of what was it?
It was various, I didn't see what all was in there, but it's usually a mixture of, there'll be some pasta, some protein, some veggie, maybe some desserts.
This is from the residence halls.
From the dining halls. Yep.
Okay, so continue. I interrupted.
No, it's okay. And so we'll add that rescue to the app, and then it will get published. And all of our volunteers, we have, I believe, over 400 now volunteers. They'll get notified that there's an available run. We try to figure out where that can go. 30 pans of food, that's a lot of food. But so we have to figure out who can take that amount of food. Because we want to suit the food to the recipient. Yeah.
How is that done?
By learning who we have, pretty much learning about our recipients and what they can take, what they, what they're able to cook. You're not going to bring frozen pans of food to some place that isn't able to heat them up.
So where did the 30 trays from Yale residence halls end up?
They ended up with Sister Cookie at the Varick AME.
Fabulous.
Yep.
Fabulous. What is the, the way you were describing it, it made me think that your organization is kind of the Uber of, food rescue, where those connections are made. So what is the need for the organization? Havens, with an S, Havens Harvest, which you could support by going to their website, havensharvest.org, or on thegreatgive.org. And Pastor Boone, what are the organization's requirements in order to really advance this work, which makes so much sense to a lot of times we're confronted with a lack of resources, but here we have resources that are just not in the right place at the right time.
That is a very detailed question, so I'm going to give you a not so detailed answer. One of the things that is going on is that, like you specified, it looks like we're a Uber, but we're more than that, and our vision is greater than that because the need is greater than that. So right now we're rescuing food and, giving it to applicable, people that need it and can use it, but there is so much other avenues that we're looking to do, and this is where the need comes in. Number one, we need a hub, a building, because not all the time can we always get the food to give out immediately, so we need refrigeration.
And currently, where is that being done?
Over at Peck Street, if possible, if it can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So we need a hub that we can handle all of this refrigerated food, prepared food. But there's also food out there that's not prepared that we get our hands on. So we have vegetables, we have meats, we have other things, and the need and the vision is to not just have a hub that collects food, prepared food, but to be able to be a community resource, not just for, we're in New Haven, but we, the lenses and the tequilas are all over the place, and we people know about Haven's Harvest, and we're starting to get the recognition that we need, but we also need the support from the community and others around that can help us do what we are doing right now.
So the big fundraising push, Lori, I mean, one of the reasons we're here on The Great Give is to make some progress towards towards finding and the purchasing of the hub that Pastor Boone has talked about. So tell us, I would imagine that's not something that you're starting today, that the search for this facility has been ongoing for a while.
Yes, it has been. Yes. I mean, the vision is to have a hub with also shared spaces with other nonprofits so that there's a constant traffic flow, so we can always share food. And some of the components that we expect to put in the hub is a commercial kitchen, which we can keep a chef busy full time, and then be able to package up, either repackage some of the food, like Anissa was saying, with the 30 pans, and or making up meals so that we can get them packaged and then shared into the community. But also a nonprofit grocery store as part of the vision, and also a re-cafe. So a cafe where you'd come and eat some recovered food. And so then also cold storage and warehouse space. So we do need a larger space so that we can make the hub, a really usable resource for the community.
I love the way you talk about a hub or like a center with spokes on a wheel. But the partner organizations would all be food connected.
Yes.
Is this your vision, or is this a model for food recovery that has some examples elsewhere in the state or the country?
I would say there are a number. I mean, this vision for this community is a shared growing vision from the wider community, certainly. But there are some pieces that have happened around the country. For instance, there's a model of a reused grocery store called the Daily Table that was started by the former CEO of Trader Joe's. And they just opened their 4th location in the greater Boston area. So they have a main kitchen, and then they have these smaller kitchens. At their main kitchen, with the big commercial kitchen, they bring in food, and then they make, whatever, pastas and other wraps and yogurt parfaits and things in the main kitchen, and then they're able to send these out to their smaller sites. So it certainly is one of the models that we'd consider. And actually, I just want to say one of the pieces that we didn't talk about partly is when we are looking at this, right now, the food that's going to waste is an environmental hazard.
Is an environmental hazard.
Absolutely, it's an environmental hazard.
How is that? Because it has to be dealt with?
Yeah, right, exactly. And so in Connecticut, most of our waste is shipped out of state and is incinerated in another state, in Ohio.
Because our own incinerator broke down,
exactly.
I gather.
Yeah,
Yes.
So we're in a waste crisis. And so what we do is really move the needle considerably. And so instead of food that's excess going to waste and being a huge negative and harmful to the environment, we make it a huge positive and make it a community resource. And so it's not just that we neutralize, the food waste. It's actually it's a considerable benefit.
That's important. Additional point to make. Yeah. So who are the who calls Anissa? Who says we have food available? It's Yale. Is it supermarkets? Is it restaurants? Is it my sister-in-law who's having a party?
It's all the above. We get calls from universities. We have some scheduled pickups that just happen because we've built those relationships. So Trader Joe's is a daily pickup. We pick up from Whole Foods. We have Starbucks. Let's see, Atticus Market, which we are at right now. We have a table out there until 11. So go say hi.
What do you mean a table out there?
We're set up with we have treats from Atticus, and coffee and some fresh blueberries that we recovered. So people can go and say hello. We three will not be there right now, but other Havens Harvest members will be.
So is that something that is done regularly at Atticus, or is that a kind of pop-up thing that you do just there because of a long relationship to Atticus?
We are there right now in honor of the Great Give to just, say thank you to our volunteers and our community for supporting us. But we do have pickups at Atticus. Is it daily? Every day. Yeah, we pick up recovered food at Atticus.
Yeah, and it's all very good. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing an I Vote button on my press pass here because if I'm not mistaken, over the years, if you vote and you show up at Atticus, they would give you a loaf of bread to reward you for having voted. So, and Lori or Pastor Boone, how old is the organization? It strikes me as that you've been around for a while, and I just personally haven't caught up to it until more recently.
Well, looks are deceiving.
Okay, good. Well, that's a truism.
I've been with the organization 2 years, but Lori, they've been doing this since
8.5 years.
8.5 years.
8.5 years.
Yeah.
And when you got started, was it just you in a van?
Actually, it was a Prius.
A Prius. Oh well, of course, a Prius. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, here you are 8.5 years later, and you're on the Great Give Radiothon, hoping to raise money, in particular towards the purchase of a hub to do what could be a marvelous thing in New Haven, a place for food rescue, for food preparation, for accomplishing important environmental ends, and a kind of cafe. I think you touch a lot of bases through the food. So the Great Give, thegreatgive.org, where you could support Havens Harvest, '(s), or directly to havensharvest.org. Anything to say by way of saying thank you and good luck that we haven't touched?
Well, we do have our poem.
Of course.
So we have our poem.
Written specifically.
Yes. This was a collaborative effort. It's a little longer, but okay. I am not by any means a poet. So here we go. Don't laugh at me. In the silent shadows of waste lies edible treasures gone to haste. Beneath the weight of neglect we find good food discarded, left behind. With each wholesome bite untasted, a tragedy for the earth wasted. For in the cycle of abundance and loss lies the toll of waste, its heavy cost. From orchard to plate, a journey in vain, as good food rots, causing pain. For every meal left to decay, we see a scar on nature, a plea. So let us gather, let us save, from bins and bins, a mission brave. For in the act of recovery we find a chance to heal, to realign. Together, hand in hand, we vow to rescue good food here and now. For in the heart of Havens Harvest we see a promise of a greener, better spree.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You really covered the bases. Thank you, Anissa Garcia, Lori Martin, and Pastor Philippon. A pleasure. And great good luck with Havens Harvest campaign to get a hub, which would be a tremendous addition to life in New Haven.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alan, for having us.
So welcome back to the Great Give here on WNHH FM, specifically the Great Give Radiothon, where we're talking to some of our community's wonderful nonprofits and helping them raise money during these 2 days of the Great Give. And you can do that by going to thegreatgive.org. Don't forget to put the in there. And you might want to toss in a few dollars for the New Haven Independent while you're there to support both the radio station WNHH and the New Haven Independent. However, in these next 10 or 15 minutes, I have before me Chef Duff from Sunrise Cafe and Jasri Peralta, who's the executive director, major domo, in charge of this unique organization here in New Haven, headquartered at St. Paul and St. James Church on Olive and Chapel Street. Welcome. And tell us what goes on there, because I think a lot of New Haveners might see people coming in and out of the church regularly, especially early in the morning, and not know what goes on there. So please.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having us today. So exactly in our name, we are Sunrise Cafe. So at the crack of dawn, you will find Chef Duff in the Undercroft of St. PJ's, and we will be welcoming all our guests in for a very early free breakfast. So Sunrise Cafe is specifically styled to be a cafe style. So we aren't a traditional soup kitchen. We really center ourselves around our mission of treating everybody with dignity and respect, and you'll see that reflected in the way that our cafe is styled. So guests come in, our kitchen, we start serving meals at 6:30, if I'm correct, 6:30.
But your customers, your clientele are mainly homeless folks, or yes or no?
So there is a good amount of our guests are homeless. A lot of them are they are in different areas in life, I would say. A lot of them are in situations where they are possibly facing eviction. So they're not necessarily homeless per se, but they are facing a lot of hardship in life. So, and we understand that, because if you are coming to a soup kitchen style vicinity, we are aware that chances are, if you're needing something such as a free meal like your breakfast, we know that you are likely suffering in other areas. So yes, there's a lot of housing issues. A lot of our population is just considered homeless, but we see there's a spectrum of that. So we just want that to be clear in terms of not everybody is considered homeless. You might see somebody on the street and have no idea that they were at Sunrise Cafe because, food is expensive, and
of course, and it's breakfast only, correct?
Correct.
It's to get the day started at sunrise, or with that, what to me is the most important meal, of the day. So Chef Duff, tell us what goes on there. And there is something unique about the Sunrise Cafe. I think not just in the food served, but in how it's served.
Yes, sir. The goal of Sunrise is to give everybody a meal with respect. And with the question was just asked, we serve all types in our public right now. We have people with jobs that come down there, and they're going through the decision of whether they're going to have a meal, or they're going to go to work, or they're going to put gas in their car. Mm-hmm. So we have families coming down there. We got bus drivers, school bus drivers. We got teachers' assistants. We got people who work on New Haven Green, cleaning the green. They can't afford a lunch. They come down and pick up breakfast, and that's their lunch. Mm-hmm. Now, we try to, as I say, give people a CAF style. When they come in, I'm at the kitchen at 2:30 in the morning.
2:30 every morning?
Yes, sir, Monday through Friday. I'm in the kitchen at 2:30, sometimes earlier, sometimes, but never later than 3:30.
You open the store up to the door to the kitchen off the back parking lot at St. Paul and St. James Church.
Yes, sir. I'm in there at 2:30.
I know it well because I actually rent a co-working space up on the second floor of St. PJ's.
Okay.
And I actually, if memory serves, I think I was one of the volunteer waiters for 1 or 2 nights.
Nice.
And you still have volunteer waiters at the cafe?
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
we'll
sir.
get to that in a second, but take us back to 2:30 in the morning, Chef.
Okay, so upon arrival, 2:30, I go into the kitchen. Right now, my menu is off my head, off the dome. I go in there. Usually before I get there, the day before, I know I'm going to put out there. It's going to be eggs, bacon, toast, cereal, oatmeal, soup. But it's also going to be stuff like breakfast lasagna. There's going to be shrimp and grits, fried fish, some other pork chop with eggs.
For breakfast?
Yes, sir.
So this has become known as like a serious breakfast that can hold you over until dinner.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I want. My mission is to feed you for 24 hours.
There you go.
When you come into the kitchen and you get your breakfast at 6:30, 7:30, I want you to leave there with that breakfast in your stomach and a bag of goodies with you, whether it's potato chips, orange juice, some fruit, a light sandwich for later on. This will carry you on for that day.
And that takeaway is part of the breakfast.
That's part of the breakfast. If you ask for it, it's there. I make sure that through the help of Connecticut Food Share that there are items that are available to the general public to take with them.
So, if memory serves, a large part of the food that you're able to cook comes from ultimately the Connecticut Food Bank.
Connecticut Food Share, Connecticut Food Bank. I'm also, like the people you just had, I'm a food rescuer. I rescue food. I work approximately 12 to 18 hours a day, 5 days a week. I also do it on the weekends. On Saturday and Sunday, I do private catering, and the money that I get from catering, I put back into my community by buying food and giving it to people.
So you do this on your own. You don't specifically. Do you work with Haven's Harvest?
So I also work with Haven's Harvest. Loaves of Fishes. There's several programs. Oh my God, I'm trying to get everybody in my head right now, but several programs. We all look out for each other.
So I'm talking to Chef Duff and Jasri Peralta from Sunrise Cafe, newhaven.org. Sunrise Cafe, newhaven.org, all run together. That's the website, and you could go to it directly or find it on The Great Give. So we're trying to raise money just to keep going or to add some new facet to the activities. Jasri, is it general operating support, or is there a special project that you think is the focus of the immediate work?
I would say it's a combination of both. We do have a lot of operational costs. Our current monthly rent is $2,400 a month. And a lot of our volunteers, and even I as a new board member, was shocked to find out that nonprofits such as Sunrise Cafe have to pay rent. So that is a big cost of ours that comes out monthly. But a lot of what our new initiatives are focused around is also purchasing new equipment and things that will help us be able to stay more sustainable in the future. So as you just heard Chef Duff say, a lot of his menu, the way that it is set up now is that he is only able to sort of come up with menu items off the top of his head, off the top of his dome, as he said. So as we're trying to look forward to like create more of a sustainable plan so that chef doesn't have to come into the kitchen at 2:30 a.m. every morning, is to create areas where we can have more food storage, for example. So if we're able to have bigger fridge and freezer units, some of those items that chef and our volunteers have to spend time making that first morning could possibly be made after the kitchen rush, after all her guests have left, and then meal prepped for the following day, the following few days, that following week. So that is something we're happy. We actually got a $3,800 grant from Dwight Hall students. Shout out to Yale. But the fridge units that we're looking at are thousands of dollars, $13,000, $15,000. And the Community Foundation has been very generous too with helping us. But with operational costs and whatnot, it's been hard in the past to be able to kind of get a system together. So those are the sort of things that we're looking at now to help us be more sustainable in the future. New kitchen equipment, blenders, so that we can a nice commercial grade blender, so that we can start more consistently offering smoothies. Celery juice, for example, is something that I'm passionate about because it's a simple product, but it has so many health benefits, especially for our population, people who are dealing with high blood pressure, diabetes, skin issues.
Celery juice can solve all those problems?
It's like high nutrition.
I thought celery was like 98% water, Chef Duff.
Yeah.
Well, it's water, but it's that 2% that's left that's going to be useful.
What's in
that's
that 2%?
That's the magic.
That's going to be, it got the antioxidant. But
I want to go out and get a glass right
I'm
now.
a kale person. I'm a kale and banana. I love kale and banana.
Yes.
It's, oh my goodness.
Another good one.
What kind of bananas?
Kale and bananas.
Kale, banana, and maybe
like kale
some
lettuce.
cucumber, and it's blended up. It's delicious.
It sounds like the Sunrise Cafe at sunrisecafenewhaven.org is a place to go get a lot of things, but maybe it's going to be the home of the celery smoothie in years to come.
We're hoping. Our clients, our guests, our customers, they love a fresh smoothie, and they're not ready for it. They're not ready to come to a soup kitchen and see some of the items that we have on that board. And that's why I do what I do. I want to shock them. I want them to be able to walk by any restaurant in New Haven and see the people eating, knowing that they can have any of those dishes I will prepare in my kitchen. Any dinner, any lunch, it's going to be breakfast when I add the eggs to it.
So I should point, I think something important to point out here is that while you talk about it as a soup kitchen, it is called the Sunrise Cafe, and when I was there, both as a volunteer and doing a story, it's run like a cafe.
Correct.
Yes.
Where there are waiters, volunteer waiters. I think this is something that a lot of New Haveners don't know about. It in part makes what you do unique, because it's all about, in addition to what you're saying about your clients feeling that they're eating the same things and drinking the same things that people do who can afford to lay out, $4.95 for a smoothie. There's waiter service there. The way the food is ordered with dignity and brought to a table without standing in line. These are features that used to be there when Sunrise Cafe was operated a number of years ago by other nonprofits, but now you're independent.
It very much is so. Our founder, one of our co-founders, Ann Calabrese, is a wonderful 98-year-old, I believe. She just celebrated.
She's still with the
organization. Yes, she's very much involved. She is a part of our board, and that is her. She's very firm on that being a integral part of our mission and our foundation. So if you come to Sunrise today, you will very much be served in the similar way, where you are coming up, you are seeing your menu items for the day. A guest, volunteer is greeting you. You get to choose your item from the whiteboard that is out front. You put a ticket in for your order so that we are keeping count of how many meals we are serving per day. And then you go back to your table, which is always white tablecloth, always flowers in the center, and then a volunteer is bringing it out to you. So that is very much, again, an integral part of us being a cafe and being cafe styled and being able to call ourselves the only free breakfast cafe in the New Haven area.
Yeah, this is really a unique thing that goes on. I think, and do give my hellos to Ann Calabrese. I believe when I was there, I saw Ann preparing some of the fruit cocktail. She was doing a little chopping. I don't know if she's still able to do
Very likely.
that.
So Alan, if you look over your right shoulder, it'll show that, they haven't reached their goal yet. People have a lot of time to go and donate, but actually don't wait. Just go and donate right now. You see,
Agreed.
Agreed.
So they're 22% of the way to their goal of 25,000.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. So, is what you're doing, Chef Duff, the putting in these new menu items, is that your innovation? Because I remember, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago when I was there. The breakfast had all these nice features of service, but it was pretty basic, bacon and eggs. There were no, kelp
Breakfast
cocktails and no pork chops.
I'm just taking it to I'm just taking sunrise up to the sun. I'm making it shine brighter. And so what I do is just make sure that every meal, that when you get this meal, you will taste the love in it. That a person has put time into it. And I want everyone to feel that they are somebody, and we show them that through our food. So yeah, we still got the bacon and eggs, though, but I like dirty eggs. Dirty eggs is basically eggs with some peppers and gravy poured over some potatoes, and they go, oh, my God, this is something different. Sometimes we do Spanish egg with the pepper, onions, and mushroom. We do the Spanish omelets, which is my boss's favorite. And I make sure, Miss Ann, when she gets down there, she gets those omelets. If she wants them, she calls. It's on.
And Calabrese likes the Spanish omelet.
Yeah, she loves the Spanish omelet. And when I'm going on 4 years there. It'll be 4 years in November. And the first dish that I cooked to her on open grill was the Spanish omelets. And she fell in love with them. And she was down there every Thursday for like 4 weeks in a row, just for those omelets, her eggs. And so she makes sure that's her passion, is make sure we have eggs for her egg dishes. And she wants to make sure they have eggs every morning. They got hot coffee. They got milk, cereal. They got the basics. We take care of the basic, and we throw a little woof in there on them. You walk around with your chest feeling like, I just had me a ham and cheese omelet and lettuce and tomato and wheat toast. And in my bag, I got a ham and cheese sandwich for later on, a bottle of water. And that brings your pride back. It's saying, my city thinks I'm somebody too. Somebody cares about me. Now, we have our good days and our bad days. Sometimes they come in there a little itchy, but that's because of the society that we're in. Like I said, we feed more than just the homeless. We feed people who have jobs. You have to make a decision. So when they come down there, I want to make sure that everybody is taken care of. From the youngest, we have several babies that come in on a regular basis, to the oldest gentleman. I call him Pop. And I think Pop is like 90 years old, but you would never notice because he's a street person. He's in real good health. And I make sure that Pop wants for nothing. When he comes in there, he's going to have a cup of coffee like he's at Dunkin' Donuts, if not better. He's going to have a donut. He's going to have a sandwich. He's going to have one heck of a breakfast. And he's going to walk out there feeling, hey, I'm special. But now he doesn't have to go to the garbage can to grab no food because he has a lunch in his hand. He has leftovers or whatever he brought out that calf with him, a bag of chips or whatever. They make him feel proud. And hopefully that person would give back in a way back to the city. Maybe they're going to pick up a piece of trash on the ground. Maybe they saw your lost bike or something. It makes people think different when you're not hungry.
Talking to, you're listening to Chef Duff describe what goes on at the Sunrise Cafe here along with Jasri Peralta. What goes on at really an organization that's unique in New Haven, a cafe that treats people like, I would say that treats people honored guests in a certain kind of way.
Exactly.
And certainly better than Dunkin' Donuts. Not in my humble
and
opinion.
everybody's eggs.
No offense.
No offense.
No,
Dunkin'
and
Donuts.
everybody's eggs should be at least dirty. You know, at the very least, I love dirty eggs and the Spanish omelet. So either way, I'm good.
Look, one day you got to come on down. I'll take care of you.
And we're raising money here on thegreatgive.org, The Great Give, where you could find sunrisecafenewhaven.org to take care of some what sounds to me like capital improvements, such as bigger freezers, bigger blenders, to turn what basically is a church kitchen down there, which is an ample church kitchen, but a church kitchen was designed to serve just the church's membership and congregation. But Chef Duff and Jasri Peralta of Sunrise Cafe New Haven, they're serving more than just a church population, serving a whole city. So in the time we have left, which is a little bit more time.
Yeah, we don't have anybody waiting. So
we're good. Okay. So you sound like you really know the people who come there.
Yes,
it
sir.
sounds like you come outside of the kitchen and
Yes,
to
sir.
the tables. It sounds like you sit down and talk to people.
Yes, sir.
You've got a lot of knowledge of these people.
Yes, sir.
So is that as much part of what you do as the cooking, or it's a feature of what you do all the time you have available?
I do what I do because I was trained by my mom.
Mm.
My mom told me to look deep into people. Just don't go for the outside. Try to find out what the problem is deep inside. So she told me a very long time when I actually first started cooking. My first catering job was at 14. She came to me and said, "Son, a lot of your friends are getting into fights and stuff because they are hungry and they're not eating in the morning." So my mom taught me how to go get dark meat chicken by the case, 40 pounds. And she would fry it up on Sunday and make biscuits. And my whole community of New Hallville, anyone can come over. Anybody could come over and get chicken and biscuits as long as we had it. Dark chicken, dark peas, biscuits. And with that, it started me. It started my mission. I started cooking for people. I started doing pop-ups. I pull up to a corner, especially in my community, and a lot of us would just bring out equipment and just start cooking and give the food away to anybody. Didn't care if you was rich or poor, tall or short, skinny, fat. Didn't care. And it was just our way to reach back out to our community and to show people that they are loved. Right now in this world, we forgot all about the word love. There's so much hate going on out there that we got to bring that love back in there. And the best way I can show you how much I love you is to put that meal in front of you and have you go, well, Dad, he really loves me. So real quick example, Monday I'm doing a breakfast lasagna. And the way it's going to be is a 7-layer lasagna. With the 3rd layer will hold all of the fixings, the eggs, sausage, pepper, onions, mushroom. And they're made in several different ways. I have a meat, I have a meatless, I have a vegan. I make sure everybody's covered. I make sure you can eat no matter what religion you are. I don't force no meat on nobody. I let everyone know what's in my ingredients, whether I'm using chicken, pork, or fish. I put it on the board so you have a choice with that.
And that's going to be this Monday.
And this Monday.
You're planning for it.
I'm planning. I'm already started. Like he said, now that we're able to get certain ingredients, I'm able to now focus ahead.
You can
3 days.
It's not just from the dome anymore.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's from the brain now.
So what we haven't mentioned numbers. How many people are given this kind of wonderful meal on a daily basis? I'm sure it varies from day to day.
Okay. Well, right now, when I first came into the program in November of 2020. We were doing about between 40 to maybe 60 meals. Our highest that we've reached right now in one day, which was on February 14th, we hit 307 meals in 2 hour span.
307 meals in 2 hours.
307 meals in a 3 hour span, 2 hour span, but we average anywhere from 150 to 200 meals right now. Being our peak is always going to be, it used to be, we were off at the first of the month because people got finances and then they come to us.
Right.
But now the finances are very low. So now the first of the month, we're getting 200 heads. We usually get like 100. So you have to actually try to read the future and get your meals set up that way. So when I come in on a Monday, I know that I got to make at least 210 portions of food. But sometimes you look out there, you got 250 people. So I have a side meal waiting to get prepared, whether it's ham and cheese sandwiches or peanut butter and jelly. Nobody goes hungry. Everybody leaves there with a meal, you know. But right now I'm just looking forward to being able to get some equipment to be able to put food away and actually make a menu for 4 weeks. Waffles, sausage, egg, grits, shrimp and grits. I want to do that so they can look forward and know what's coming. When I put my menu out 2 or 3 days in advance, oh my goodness, Thursday is every Thursday is always chicken and waffles. And so that's our busiest day. Thursday is always.
The word has gotten out.
Well, I've been doing it. You got a beautiful lady sitting out here. Her name is Miss Marcy Lynn out there.
Yeah.
She actually helped me start doing what I did. When I went public, she reached out to me. And that woman right there got me food. We fed the Green one day, like 400, 500 people on New Haven Green for Thanksgiving. During the whole COVID, we were out there feeding people. Okay, we went from 50 people a day to probably 300 a day. You know, I've been doing this for so long. People say you make it look easy. Nothing is easy. If it's easy, it's not worth it. This is a hard job, and I done quit about 800 times in the last 4 years, easily, 800 times easily. I done been in this room this is probably my 5th time up here. Talking. Yes, sir. Talking to Fly Tie. Had a couple interviews with him. Channel 8, Channel 3. And it's a job. It's a mission. And we got to get the word out there because you don't hear about it. You don't know about it. You think there's nothing going on. People are hungry every day. And not just the people who have nothing. People who got, we got high mortgages now, high insurance. Everything is high.
Right.
We got shrinkflation. We got inflation. Have you been to the grocery store lately? I came out and they had to carry me. I was passed out. I couldn't believe the price of some of this food. So I understand food insecurity. I understand when I get that phone call on Saturday morning and there's someone saying, hey, chef, can you bring some groceries by? You know, I understand their plight. I understand what they're going through. I understand, you know, looking at your child and you don't have no food for them. But even the giver sometimes gets tired. You know, it's a very stressful job.
Right.
So, you know, sometimes we need a little getaway ourselves. We don't usually get it, but I try to make the best out of any situation. You know, but anybody who comes to me, any family I can help, anyone to get food into their house, I will go arm, leg, and foot to get it. And I put my back into it. So,
talking to Chef Duff and Jazri Peralta at the Sunrise Cafe, newhaven.org. You can go there directly at that address or go to thegreatgive.org and support this unique organization that turns breakfast into a kind of all-day gift. So how are waffles and chicken put together? I know chicken and I know waffles, but in my mind, I'm not sure I see how they're connected. How do you get the chicken in the waffles or the waffles in the chicken?
You've never had chicken and waffles before?
I have not.
Never had chicken and waffles before?
I have not.
We need to take care of that problem. That's how you got,
I have not.
You got a problem we got to take care of.
Maybe
right
that's
there.
my problem in life, that I have not had that particular meal.
I use my my training to show people how to make a meal, and that all your meals don't have to be from a fancy 5-star restaurant to enjoy it. Some of the best things in life are the simple things in life. And chicken is always going to be my go-to meat because it's inexpensive and I can feed a lot of people with a few dollars. I mean, people don't realize the power of that. But you take that chicken and you take the one secret that people don't realize. You must marinate it. You must season it and let it rest before you cook it.
When you say let it rest, I'm thinking of a religious experience.
Well, if you eat my chicken, you might want to pray.
All right. So I interrupted you.
It is a religious experience. Or spiritual,
I'm not
anyway.
trying to front, but if you ask around New Haven, this is my front. This is my tower. This is my
your
mountain.
ministry.
This is me. And chicken, they'll tell you right off the back, yeah, I'm that person. You know, I'll cook you some chicken, some fish, some turkey, and you'll come back to me and say, well, This is different. I'll make you some smothered pork chops, and I swear I'll make a tear come out your eye.
So get back to the chicken and
now
waffles.
the chicken, we're going to marinate it. We're going to let it marinate anywhere from as little as 3 hours to as much as 12 to 24 hours overnight.
In what?
In the refrigerator. You want to
Marinating
keep it,
in what?
Oh, it depends on what you want to go for.
Well,
What do
for
you
you,
want?
the chicken and waffles.
Okay, if you want chicken and waffle,
Right.
I like to start off with a vinegar base.
Okay.
And rice wine vinegar is a nice sweet base. It gives you a little bit of the yin and the yang, the sweetness and the bitterness. Excuse me. A little salt and pepper, a little onion powder, a little garlic powder, a little cumin for color, a little sazon for flavor and color.
Okay.
Let that sit back. Also, on your flour, you're going to season it. That's what people lose. I don't understand. You should season that flour. Salt and pepper, a little sazon. Sazon is the best seasoning in the world. I don't care what anyone says. Hands down. Sazon.
How you
It's
spell
a
that?
red. It's Sason. It's beautiful.
Sazon. Sazon.
That's it. It's a Z. I'm sorry.
It's a Z.
Z. My bad.
That's right.
Z.
Sazon.
Sazon.
So is it? What is it? Is Spanish?
It's
Yeah.
a Spanish.
It's
Several
a collection
companies
of
making
things.
it, but Goya makes the best.
But it's a bunch of spices and herbs together.
And together in a nice
Combination.
little packet. In a little
Right.
packet, it gives you color, the red
Right.
seasoning, whatever. It
Okay.
just makes your food pop. Once that's all combined, you're gonna go ahead and fry it. I don't do a quick fry. I like to do a mid fry. I like to do what they call a double fry. I'm going to fry it, say, at a lower level and then bring it back at a high fry. That gives it the crispiness.
Right.
You're going to do what they call a 2/3 cook, which means I'm not going to finish it in the pan. I'm going to finish it in the oven. Once I get it fried, I take it, I put it in the oven, I dip it in the gravy, and I put it in the oven, let it bake for about 35 minutes. Then it comes out and it all gets put in the gravy. It goes back into the oven for another 35 minutes. What that gives you is a beautiful base. When I put that chicken and that gravy on top of that pork chop and little maple syrup goes on top of it, it's just beautiful. The maple syrup makes it pop. The chicken gives you that nice warm feeling, and the waffles give you that mama I'm home feeling.
Yeah,
So
it's
that
too
way-
it's too early to talk about all that food. It sounds delicious. You should have brought a dish in with you. But
I
here's
just
the
left
thing.
the kitchen. She just came and got me.
Where's your restaurant?
So it's my restaurant. I just do pop up and catering. I don't
You do
have
pop up catering.
Yeah, I do pop up catering. I cater pretty good. I'm usually
Because
booked.
your process sounds like you should be able to go sit down and have your food.
And that's
Thank
exactly
you.
what he brings. That's
Thank you.
exactly his ministry. That
Exactly.
everybody
Yeah.
deserves that, even at a quote unquote soup kitchen. Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to break down these walls. I just don't want when you hear of soup kitchen, you go, oh, soup kitchen.
Yeah.
Go down there and get the basic food.
Get in
Everybody
line.
else get in line, and all these people in there.
Go
I
down
want
the
that
counter.
To be gone. Yeah, we're trying to teach them, and I say us, basic respect of one another. When you get down there, to learn how to give people their private time, let them sit quietness and relax and enjoy a good meal. As we said, let it go down.
So
Yeah, and people, sorry, Alan, but people really do have to go and donate because I'm looking at 150 for 200 to purchase 200 meals of eggs,
That's
or
right.
eggs for
Yes.
200 meals.
Yes.
Now
That goes
you
a long way.
just said they had to carry you out of the supermarket.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get for $150 you get 200 meals. That's like
Bulk.
amazing. That's
The
like
word is bulk.
that's like Jesus stuff with the
Bulk.
loaves and fish.
that's right.
$1,000 I could probably feed. $1,000 I could probably feed 500 to 600 people fried chicken. With
So-
$1,000.
So let's do that by supporting sunrisecafenewhaven.org directly, or go to thegreatgive.org. There's something really wonderful happening at the Sunrise Cafe through this culinary ministry of Chef Duff here. And I'm listening to you talk about the kind of food you're preparing. And I'm thinking of when I was a young man, I spent some days, 2 or 3 days a month, sleeping in at a homeless shelter in the basement of a synagogue in Manhattan. And I have this vivid memory of, and we used to have people bring stuff into the synagogue from restaurants. And somebody brought in truffles. Chocolate covered truffles or something like that. A dessert. What's a truffle? It's a. Is that a
chocolate truffle.
It's a kind of mushroom with chocolate.
Truffles are mushroom.
So I don't know who it was. Whoever the person was in charge of the shelter. We were able to sleep 10 guys there, but these were some of them were kind of out of control guys. We didn't know what was going on, but the powers that be would not allow them to be in the basement there of the synagogue unless there was like a person sleeping there. So and there was a cot. Everybody had cots. It was not like it is today, which is much better. We're dealing with people who've got homeless issues and so on and so forth. Is more professionalized. But the comment I remember that your remarks about food and your kind of glorious descriptions of how you prepare food put me in mind of was that we used to feed at that time bologna sandwiches to the guys. It was bologna and cheese or cheese and white bread. And someone said this was exactly what you get if you go to jail, right? If you want to get a sandwich in jail, it was quite, maybe it was a cut above. But in come the truffles, and there was a tray of some other fancy stuff from a restaurant. And someone said to the person in charge, don't feed that. Don't. The homeless guys, they don't want that stuff. Not only do they not want that stuff, they're so used to all the usual stuff that will be disagreeable to their stomachs. Their digestion won't be able to handle it.
I heard that before. I actually heard that before. Rich food is not good for them. It's going to make their stomach upset because it's too rich. But first of all, truffle, when you make a truffle into a candy or a brownie or a cake, you're actually using the oil of the truffle. You're pressing it and you're getting the truffle oil. You're going to get you're going to get the flavor of it. You're going to get the richness of it. It's not going to hurt your stomach. If anything, you might eat it and say, "Damn, I want more of this."
Right.
Okay. But that's just what I want people to understand is that when you come down there's no shorts on my food. The same food that I serve at that kitchen is what my family eats.
Right.
It's the same exact food. Okay. I use the good to promote. I use the good to get rid of the bad. I use the bad to promote the good. In other words, a couple of my hangups. I'm depressed. I'm manic depressed. I use that depression, my lack of not being able to sleep, I turn around to a positive. I'm in that kitchen early and I figure, how can I make somebody happy when I'm feeling down? The best way to make myself feel happy is to make someone else feel happy.
Is to cook.
And so I cook.
Yeah.
And when when little Forrest gets there, he's our baby down there.
I was going to say, you can't do this alone. You got to have some help.
I got a crew.
Got a crew.
Right now, I'm there from 2:30 to about 5 by myself. I have a sous chef that comes in from 5 to 9. By the
Which
time
is a
he gets
culinary
there,
student. So.
Culinary student.
And that is another.
From the Gateway or something?
From Concat. So,
from Concat.
Yes,
okay.
but we have worked with Gateway students in the past, and that is something that we are definitely open to. Anybody who wants culinary experience and needs internship hours or that sort of thing, we are always looking for and open to, because Chef, he says he has a crew, but it at this particular point, we do need more help. We have our volunteers that come in, but we are looking to get more kitchen support because it is a lot. And by raising these funds, we would be able to afford to be able to hire another part-time cook and
some paid internships. What a wonderful idea. And I'm listening to Chef Duff just for a few minutes, and that's an education right there.
Absolutely.
And
that's
how it's an education there, how to prepare the chicken, cooking it high, cooking it low,
exactly,
putting it in the oven. Those are things that I mean.
Chef is Surf Safe Manager certified, so we are fully prepared to teach people kitchen etiquette, cleanliness, all those kinds of things that culinary students are looking for to get that internship and externship, I should say, experience. So for anybody listening that is interested in that, definitely please feel free to reach out because we are accepting externships.
And if they go to sunrisecafenewhaven.org,
Yes.
there's a place to contact you.
Absolutely. Yep. We have a contact us form. They can let us know that they're interested in whether it's volunteering or specifically getting externship hours. We are available to do that.
And if people are listening and have a industrial size freezer around, a giant blender,
a van they're not using. I've been through 15 vehicles in 10 years, burning them out. My wife bought me an Acura Legend for our anniversary, and I actually burnt it out because Yale donated a couple of tons of food, and I tried to squeeze it all in the Acura, and I dropped the shocks and oil pan, and anyway, I destroyed it, but I'm used to it. So we just recently lost my Honda minivan, my Honda Accord. I had it for 2 years. It was donated to me. And with that vehicle, we were able to serve probably 3,000 people in the last 2 years of me having that van. Now that the van is gone, my wife actually went and got me another vehicle, but this vehicle, she's telling me this is for me. I'm not to destroy it.
You listen to your wife, Chef.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to what she says.
Yes, I do. Yes, sir. I listen to every word she says. I never defer from anything you say, honey.
Good.
All right, so we're listening to the remarkable Chef Duff and Jezreel Peralta from sunrisecafenewhaven.org. Go there. These folks are not just raising money for a really unique organization that provides not just food, but the food of love and dignity, and on a gourmet level at sunrisecafenewhaven.org, and support the organization through fundraising. We just heard a moment ago that there are several slots open to learn culinary skills with Chef Duff. And that seems to me to be the culinary equivalent of clerking at the Supreme Court.
Thank you.
And also, if there's a Subaru Outback out there, a larger vehicle, that also. sunrisecafenewhaven.org. Chef Duff, thank you. A pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Jezreel.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you for your time. And thanks for doing this important work.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.